Hello, you absolute legends. Facility 00 Agent. For those who grew up in the 90s playing video games, it's hard to find a more iconic level and difficulty combination. It's almost certainly the most memorable level in GoldenEye, and one of the reasons for that is the unlockable cheat. If you could beat Facility 00 Agent in less than 2 minutes and 5 seconds, you would gain access to the invincibility cheat, and it would cement your status forever as a true gamer. It's almost universally seen as the hardest cheat to attain, and back in the day, one of the most common questions GoldenEye players would ask each other was, have you unlocked invincibility? The cheat became so infamous that Nintendo posted a walkthrough to their official website, and even included a video from one of their top game testers. This video quality is horrendous by today's standards, but back then, it was amazing. I remember watching this very video back in 1998, and it blew my mind. Honestly, the bad quality gave it a unique, magical feel that's hard to appreciate these days. Videos like this were some of the first videos people ever downloaded online, including myself. What's interesting, however, about this example run is that the strategy used has basically been the same for the past 25 years. Obviously, there have been optimizations, but one of the core themes of Facility 00 Agent is the location of Dr. Doak. One of the objectives is to contact a double agent named Dr. Doak, who was named after one of the GoldenEye developers, Dr. David Doak. Dr. Doak gives you a door decoder that opens the door to the bottling room where you rendezvous with Trevelyan. However, the location of Dr. Doak is random. He can be in a variety of places throughout the level, though of course, when it comes to speedrunning, there can only be one position that is the most optimal. And everyone knew exactly what position that was, standing in a corner between some rooms in the laboratory area. Even Nintendo knew what was best, way back in 1998. In fact, they said themselves, Dr. Doak's placement in this level is random. If he is not here, you will need to restart the level. You might have to do this many times. Seriously, Nintendo, you are sadistic. I mean, if we're talking about speedrunning, yes, Dr. Doak absolutely needs to be in this specific spot to get the fastest time. But I mean, if you just want to get the invincibility cheat, you have plenty of time to check other locations. Needless to say, Facility 00 Agent became heavily connected with the idea of Dr. Doak being in this corner, and it's been that way since the beginning of time. As a speedrunner, there weren't many things more exhilarating than peeking around this wall and seeing Dr. Doak standing right there. But recently, everything has changed. An ancient strategy has resurfaced that is not only slightly faster, but enables you to check more than one Dr. Doak location and not lose any time. This means you don't have to be as lucky, and in speedrunning, that's sometimes even more valuable than simply being faster. In today's video, we will take a quick look at this quote-unquote new strategy that has completely changed the way speedrunners are playing Facility. I really hope you enjoy. Now legends, this video is sponsored by the military online game War Thunder, and when it comes to vehicle combat games, War Thunder is the most comprehensive ever made. War Thunder contains over 2,000 unique vehicles, including tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, and each of them is finely crafted to be as realistic as possible, resulting in a highly immersive combat experience. I'm a huge history buff, so I love going back over 100 years and seeing how the tech evolved. It's always a mini history lesson whenever I play. Personally, I prefer air combat. Fights are a lot more fast-paced, and the movement is super intuitive and fun to learn, even with just a keyboard and mouse. The fights are intense, the soundscape is epic, and the 4K graphics are incredibly impressive. But what's even more impressive is that War Thunder is free to play, and is available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And for new players or those who haven't played in 6 months, if you use my link in the description, there is a large free bonus pack waiting for you, which includes multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator for your vehicles, and much more. This is only available for a limited time, so be quick. Facility has always been considered one of the best showcases of a player's skill. It has the perfect combination of technicality and luck. Players are required to execute many tight and precise turns, many door warps, and avoid a slew of guards. And they need to be able to do this very consistently because only 1 in 7 runs even has a chance of completing due to the location of Dr. Doak. Dr. Doak can be in one of 7 possible locations, in a room on either side of a hallway at the midpoint of the level, 2 locations in a far room housing some gas canisters, which people very rarely visit, in 2 of the 3 small rooms in the laboratory area just before meeting with Trevelyan, and the final location being the optimal one for speedrunning, which is standing in a corner. This position is great because it's right next to the hallway that we need to travel down, so it's barely out of the way. You lose at most a second talking to him. Dr. Doak's 1 in 7 odds made this level quite luck-reliant, especially because he was positioned right near the end, so you had to perform an entire near-perfect speedrun until the very end before knowing if Dr. Doak was there. There's absolutely nothing you can do to impact the Doak chances either. He spawns into the level when you drop down from the vents at the very beginning, and the RNG in GoldenEye works in such a way that you simply can't affect it. It's far too random. One of the most famous grinds in GoldenEye history was when Rayan Isran, the greatest player of all time, was trying to get a new world record of 51 seconds on Secret Agent, which is essentially the same as 00 Agent. It took him 6 years of on and off again attempts before finally getting it in 2019. And the reason it took him so long is because he just got terrible luck. And one of the greatest skips of all time was when Daniel Coelho achieved 51 seconds on 00 Agent in 2020, setting a new world record. Daniel had never even seen a 52, which was the record at the time, and he likely never will. Both players had experienced terrible grinds and terrible luck before finally breaking through. Many players could likely get faster times than what they currently have, but it's just so hard to be that fast that often on such a difficult level. However, it didn't have to be this way, because another strategy that had been written off as slower or not worth pursuing had existed for years. In 2007, the player Graham Maddox posted a video of himself playing Facility Secret Agent using a backup strategy. When he went to talk to Doak, he wasn't there, so Graham ran into a nearby room where Dr. Doak happened to be and shot his KF-7 in the corner to alert a guard in a room on the other side of the locked door to the bottling room. This caused the guard to open the locked door from the other side. While this seems pretty slow to run all the way into this room to alert the guard, it ultimately might not be that much of a time loss. First of all, if you did use this lure, you wouldn't check the original Doak position first. Secondly, in the normal strategy you need to pause before the door to get out the door decoder, which costs 4 seconds, and then you have to wait even more time for the decoder to open the door. So either way, you have to wait a fair amount of time before the door opens. People on the forums at the time thought the idea was cool, but everyone seemed to agree that it was slower than the existing strategy. Wouter Jansen, one of the most ancient players and a previous world champion, said the idea was an old one that had been tried before, but reiterated that it wasn't as good as the current strategy. Some people played around with it for fun, but this luring concept faded away almost instantly and wasn't talked about for 10 years. In 2017, the player Randy Bukima brought it up once again on the forums, and he emphasized for the first time that this strategy would mean double Doak odds. This is because if Doak is inside of the room, he will talk to you when you enter, and if he is in the usual position in the corner, he will walk towards the room so you can talk to him on the way out. Therefore, this strategy means 2 out of the 7 Doak positions would be equally as fast. One thing Randy did optimize is that he started shooting earlier, before even entering the room. In GoldenEye, the more bullets you shoot, the louder your gun is to surrounding guards. And if a guard is fairly far away, as is the case in this strategy, you need to shoot a certain amount of bullets before they can hear you. So you want to start shooting as early as possible so that by the time you reach the lure spot, your gun is already loud enough. However, despite this optimization, and despite the Doak odds being double, people were still not sold on the idea. Rayan Isran said that he thought the strategy was a bit slower, but it's worth trying out. At best, it was assumed to be roughly the same speed, which makes it interesting that again, this strategy disappeared completely and was never implemented or discussed. Even if it was only the same speed, double Doak odds is gigantic. That would effectively halve the time needed to play the level, and there were other benefits too. In the old strategy, many times you would get back boosted going to the decoder door, but in the new strategy, you had quite a lot of leeway so that being a bit slower didn't even matter, as you had to wait for the guard to open the door anyway. I think the reason this strategy never caught on is because the normal strategy was so entrenched into the GoldenEye psyche. Hoping that Doke would be in that one particular spot had been the strategy people used even before speedrunning GoldenEye existed. It was just the way things were, and the idea of changing it just didn't feel right. I remember hearing about this strategy back in 2017, and I felt the same way. I just didn't like the idea of using a Lewis strategy instead of opening the locked door myself. So I wasn't excited, and I didn't really care. And I guess most other players felt the same way. But 6 years later, the strategy emerged again, and this time it finally clicked. In September of 2023, the player Ilari Pekala started messing around again with the Lewis strat. Ilari was playing full game runs, and after a suggestion by another ancient GoldenEye champion, Sterling Neblet, he decided to try it. If anything, just to show that the strategy was suboptimal. However, he noticed his pace on facility was surprisingly good, so he switched to single-level runs to do more testing. Ilari would optimize it once again by not running all the way into the corner and running directly for the closest point at which the guard can be alerted. In early October, he would achieve a new personal best of 52 seconds, 1 second away from the world record. This was the first time since the strategy was created 16 years ago that a top player had actually put any time or effort into playing it. This caught the attention of former GoldenEye champion David Clemens, who began grinding the strategy after Ilari's new personal best. And again, he realized pretty quickly that this strategy wasn't slower. In fact, if anything, it was faster. David decided to go for the secret agent world record of 51 seconds, which at this time had still only been achieved by Rayan Isran. Remember, it took Rayan 6 years to get 51, but after implementing this Lewis strategy, it took David Clemens just 1 week to match it.
Fucking clutched it, yo. Thanks, everybody. Oh my god. So glad that wasn't a 52.0, dude. It was pretty high. It was pretty high. Yo, Sterling, thank you.
Once we had a couple of top players prove the strategy was good, a bit more effort was finally put into testing how fast it was. And using tools, it has recently been confirmed that this Lewis strategy is almost a full second faster. Players are already looking beyond 51 to the possibility of achieving 50 seconds. I can't tell you how crazy 50 seconds would be. As someone who has watched the level progress over the past 25 years, 50 seconds would be truly shocking. But it's almost certainly going to happen. The strategy is faster and has double the Doke odds. There is no reason why this shouldn't be used to produce a new record. It's funny to think that if just a bit more attention was put on this strategy 16 years ago, or even further back, this is what everyone would have been doing the entire time. It's a surreal feeling knowing that the old strategy is no longer best. When you've seen a strategy used for so long, it's oddly emotional when you need to say goodbye. It truly is the end of an era. Also, once again, use my link in the description to download and play War Thunder. It's free, it's fun, and it's awesome. Plus, using my link will get you a bunch of free bonus goodies, so definitely click the link and check it out. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.